Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network with Donald Eng. I'm Rob Adams. Happy Monday to you, one and all. Beginning of a day in which we will have girls ice hockey on the air later on tonight when two co-op teams meet at 8:30 this evening at the rinks at Shelton. We'll have Trumbull St. Joseph going up against a combination, Don, of Notre Dame, Fairfield, and Foreign. So that'll be interesting tonight.
Yeah, that is an interesting game. I mean, you know, it's the co-ops are always interesting. You never really. It's hard to really get a handle on how good some of these teams are, but I'm looking forward to that broadcast.
Indeed. So we will look forward to that, and again, that's later on tonight, and that's kind of become a nice place for us to shoot now. Last week, we did two games in what they call the downstairs rink. The lower rink, it's on the ground level. You walk straight in, and that's where we were. Tonight, we will be upstairs if you're out there, coming out and checking it out. And I've already been in touch with some of the folks involved at both schools, so they're excited for that. And that's always a nice feeling. I mean, I think girls' sports don't get the attention it often deserves, and girls' hockey, I have kind of developed a little bit of a little bit of an emotional tie to girls' hockey off what happened, of course, last year when we covered the state championship game. So I'm excited to go see this game tonight.
Yeah, I really like that. I also really like getting the girls' sports, the girls' winter sports, a lot more of the publicity, because these athletes really deserve to be recognized for their efforts. I mean, we talk about girls' basketball and things like that, but those girls' hockey players are they work as hard as anyone. They're as dedicated to their sport as anyone, and it's great to see them getting recognition.
So again, that's 8:30 tonight. We'll be on the air right around 8:25 with the call. Chris Callen and I will have it for you from up in Shelton. Tomorrow, Ridgefield and Wilton over at Wilton High School. I beg your pardon. That's boys basketball, 7 o'clock, and I believe Cato's going to jump on the air. John Kovach as well with me for the call. And then on Wednesday, back to wrestling as Bill Bloxam joins me at Fairfield Ward High School for Danbury and Fairfield Ward, a real showdown in the FCAC. And then Friday, girls ice hockey, and this is arguably the capper of the week, and arguably numbers 1 and 2, maybe in the entire state. Darien and New Canaan, Friday night, 6:40, girls ice hockey at the Darien Ice Rink here on the HAN Network. So a busy week.
It is a busy week. I'm especially excited to see Danbury wrestling on the network. I mean, if any wrestling fans, that Danbury is like, I don't even know how to describe now. What are they? The Oklahoma State of Connecticut wrestling? Is that the?
That's not a bad
comparison.
Yeah, that's not a bad comparison. Just looking forward very quickly, and we'll bring Tim Murphy on of the Ridgefield Press in just a moment. Next week, not one but two doubleheaders on Monday and Friday. Girls ice hockey doubleheader on Monday. A girls and boys basketball doubleheader on Friday, and in between a track and field meet. So busy week next week as well as we get into really the championship months of February and into March. So good stuff there. It's going to be a busy time coming up here on the HAN Network, and to me it's exciting. So long as the voice holds out, I'm as happy to do as anybody.
Fisherman's friend are your friends.
Yes, a lot of my secret coming out of my infamous 15 games in 5 days run of Babe Ruth baseball was the honey lemon throat drops.
Really? Okay, honey lemon.
Because the honey is supposed to be good for the throat.
You probably want the sugar-free too, so you're not too wired at the end of the games, I'm thinking.
Oh no, that helped.
Oh, it does. Okay.
I did use the regular sugar.
Now the ice rink style, like when it's 30 degrees there, does that preserve the voice? Like keep the swelling down? What's the?
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. All right, to more serious matters, we do bring Tim Murphy on from the Ridgefield Press, and Tim has got a couple of stories that one is actually out and about right now, but another one that is kind of developed, and we will get into all that with Murph. Murph, how are you?
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're doing all right. Let's start with the thing that you're going to be dealing with. In all likelihood, you'll see him tomorrow, and that is the resignation and ultimate retirement of Carl Charles, the athletic director at Ridgefield High School. Tell me about that.
Right. I mean, it's been rumored for several years that almost yearly is Carl leaving this year, and he finally actually is leaving at the end of this year. He's been in education 39 years, 31 as an AD, 10 last 10 as the AD at Ridgefield High, and I think it's one of those things. Just time. He's been thinking about it for several years. He wanted to stay on this year because there was a new superintendent in Ridgefield, so wanted to make the transition a little smoother, and now he's just ready to ride into the sunset.
He's somebody that we've gotten to know a little bit here on the network as well, and he's been very accommodating to us and a really good guy. And I know he also had a background on the court as well. I know he was involved for a long time doing some coaching.
Yeah, I mean, he coached for years, 31 seasons and combined, Weston, Massick, and 5 at Ridgefield, where he was the AD and the boys basketball coach. And his track record speaks for itself. I mean, 481 victories, 234 losses overall in his 31 seasons, 79-39 at Ridgefield. His last 3 seasons, he got a state semi appearance and 2 state quarterfinals. So he. Great job as a coach, and probably even more so for the program, just the way he developed and hired coaches. I mean, that's the one thing I've noticed in his tenure, is the quality of the coaches he's gotten for the programs. It's pretty incredible.
And he handled what I thought was a really unique situation with what happened with Kevin Callahan. I thought he handled that very adeptly, and that those are the downsides of being an AD.
Right. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it that we don't see just in the results, wins and losses. But right, there's the human element. There's the PR piece. There's a lot to take in.
Yeah, there really is. Tell me about some of the kind of stuff that we wouldn't know about him. I know you've had a chance to get to know him a little more so through working at the press, and we've had a chance a little bit as well. But from your own perspective, what have you learned about him?
Well, he's really just so committed to the program, and I've seen him just go out of his way to track down, good coaches. I mean, sometimes he's waited to fill a vacancy when people are kind of like, oh, is he going to get somebody? But he's holding out, trying to get the best person for the program. And, like I said before, I mean, just the way Ridgefield High sports have improved under his watch it's really something to see, and even the coaches speak to that, to how much the program's improved. And you look at the basketball. He left. Andrew McClellan was his assistant, takes over. He's doing a really good job. He's got Tom DeMarzo at the girls. I mean, everywhere you look. I mean, Roy Colsey, the lacrosse legend himself, coaching the Ridgefield boys team. So it's really a testament to his caring about the program that he finds these really amazing coaches.
One thing I noticed reading your story here is at the end of the article, you had said that he had said that his decision to retire was not spur of the moment, but he wrote in a letter to the Ridgefield High School personnel, and he literally deflected every single bit of credit to them, writing, "I'm proud of the fact that our athletic programs have reached unprecedented levels of success. This is primarily because of you. Ridgefield is fortunate to have a staff so dedicated and so committed to excellence." You've dealt with him obviously a lot more than I have. I mean, does he carry himself with that kind of grace always? I mean, that's just a remarkable statement, I thought, in a retirement story like that one.
Yeah, that's pretty typical. The crazy thing is that before he started, Chip Salvestrini was in before him, who's now the AD at Danbury, and he really got the ball rolling. I mean, Chip did a good job too. But prior to those two guys, in which Carl's really solidified because he's been there longer than Chip is, and at one point, Ridgefield was a death knell for coaches. I mean, no one wanted to come to Ridgefield. It was kind of a running joke. The parents were meddling. Some good coaches were leaving. Parents were circulating letters surreptitiously to get coaches fired. And, it was a running joke that people, you don't want to coach in Ridgefield. And that's totally done a 180 now, where you have, everyone wants to coach in Ridgefield. And I think that, again, it speaks to what Carl's done to settle down the program.
Talking with Tim Murphy, sports editor of the Ridgefield Press here on Nutmeg Sports. Happy to have you along with Donald Eng. I'm Rob Adams. And Murph, before we turn to the other story, maybe we'll kind of transition it this way. One of the teams that I've been keeping an eye on is the Ridgefield boys ice hockey team, and they are scuffling this year. What happened with them?
A good question. I think head coach Sean Gallagher probably was searching for that answer too. I mean, they went into the season with high hopes. They lost some players, but they didn't really lose anybody to prep programs, which is usually something that happens. But they lost Liam Smith, who was their top scorer, and I don't know if it's just something's not clicking. Like, they've got plenty of talented players, and you just keep waiting for them to put it together. And they're playing a little bit better lately. Got a win over New Canaan last week, but it's their type of team that come to the playoffs. You probably don't want to face them, because if they can get this straightened out, they certainly have the talent.
That'll be interesting to watch. And that leads us into the story you did that more or less involves I don't know if it's fair to say a darker side of youth hockey. Tell us about that story.
Well, yeah, it's an interesting story. We were approached by the parents of a 10-year-old hockey player, and they were really upset about an incident that happened before practice earlier in January, where some kids were apparently roughhousing. There's not really a certain what happened, but kids were kind of just joking around. Players on the same team waiting to go on the ice while the Zamboni was finishing cleaning for practice, and it led to one kid hitting the other with the butt end of his stick, and it nothing that I've heard is that it was done maliciously or on purpose, but it unfortunately went through the other player's mouth face cage and wound up chipping a tooth. And then the parents were upset at that this happened, that it was kind of an unsupervised moment, and also that the player who committed the act at first only got a week suspension, and then the parents complained, and it got stretched to 2. And I think their point is that their son's going to be out longer, and why should this other player be back before their son comes back? On the flip side, we've heard from a lot of people that just say there was a classic case of 9 and 10-year-old boys roughhousing and fooling around, and the boy who did it has no track record. Wasn't like he was a bully or stalking the other player. So you get both sides. I mean, should the league have done more to with the suspension or the penalty, or should they change their policy to make sure coaches are there all the time? I mean, there was a coach there, but he was just not right at that spot at the time. So it's an interesting issue. It brings up some points about youth sports and how they handle crazy stuff like this.
Now, I noticed in your story that the parents had reported the incident to the Ridgefield police, but that the police said that because it involves 9-year-old and 10-year-olds, they would not be releasing any information. I mean, so now, to the best of your knowledge, is this something that they would actually go ahead and investigate, or are they just kind of gonna just kind of leave it up to the league?
Yeah, I mean, I think the captain, Jeff Kreitz, said that their youth officer was looking into the matter, and it should be closed out by the end of last week. I don't foresee any, arrests, or I think it was a matter of just looking in. I don't think the parents were trying to get the other guy arrested on assault charges or anything. I think it was just more a matter of for some reason, they wanted to bring it to the police department's attention.
And what's amazing when you watch NHL hockey and players get injured, they go to the locker room, get stitches, come back out and finish the game. Apparently that starts in youth hockey. If you read the story, he got a stick through his face mask, broke a tooth in his mouth. He stuck the tooth in his equipment bag and then participated in practice and didn't tell anybody. Hockey players are just a different breed.
Oh yeah, they are. Murph, what does the family hope is the end game of all this?
I don't know if they have a desired outcome. I mean, I think they were just kind of upset at what they perceive as the leniency of the penalty, the suspension for a week and then stretched to 2 weeks. They were also concerned because their son, even though he's injured, he probably can come back in another week or two if he wants to. And they were concerned he's going to come back and play on the same team now with this other boy. So they thought maybe the league should do something about that, put them on different teams. So I'm not quite sure there's a specific outcome. I think they just more were reacting to what they perceived as a slight, against their son that he had to stay out longer than the player who injured him, and also that, again, that there wasn't monitored. And one board member wrote back to them an email the next day after this happened saying that, he's a 9-year-old kid and this shouldn't happen, but, we're going to try and work on our policy in terms of practices to make sure there's a coach always there or some adult at all times. But, it's hard to prevent this stuff, too. I mean, you can't be everywhere.
Murph, compelling stuff as always, and I've always been a fan of Murph's Turf anyway, and the stuff that you do. So hopefully we will see you tomorrow night or down the road for some games soon. And again, compelling, very interesting stuff. So we thank you for your time.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, and I'm going to get a honey lemon lozenge right now.
And we'll talk about overrated bands. Thanks, Murph.
See you guys later. Bye.
All right, Tim Murphy, the sports editor in Ridgefield for the Press. We'll take a break here on Nutmeg Sports. We'll continue. Athletes of the Week. We've got to name the last week's winners. We've got to talk about this week's nominees. So a little more to do as we move along for a Monday Nutmeg right after this on the HAN Network.
Here at the Darien Sports Shop, we are very excited about our newly redesigned men's department. Gentlemen, if you're shopping for work, weekend, or wedding, we've got the latest styles and trends inside our spacious new department just for you. We have vast selections from Peter Millar, Vineyard Vines, Johnny O, Duckhead, Barber, and so much more. And you can even walk out of the store in the new Wolverine 1,000-mile men's boot. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
While there's still a bite out on the water, most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Just past the midway point of a Monday show. Days all mixed together after the storm.
Well, exactly, yeah, because you spend Saturday covering the storm, then you sort of relax on Sunday, and then you're back at work, and you're like, okay, what is it? What is it, Thursday today? What day is it? But it tends to kind of.
Well, we made it through the storm, as the saying goes.
We did. I thought you were going to pull a Barry Manilow there, but.
Made it through the rain.
Yeah.
I did see some of your footage, heard your phone call. Good stuff coming in from Seymour over the weekend. So.
Well, thanks. Yes, I put Elizabeth to work. We're getting payback for all those Girl Scout cookies I've sold in the office. So we're good. She helped out with some of the cleanup in the walkway.
I almost I almost feel like a terrible father. Normally my son is around to help the mighty HAN Network family, and he wasn't around all weekend, so I couldn't put him on the air. Couldn't put him into work. So
couldn't put him to work.
No heavy lifting for Sean, but we'll see him again soon. Anyway, we should take a look at the highlights from Friday night's basketball game before we get to Athlete of the Week. For a moment we had another chance for a compelling basketball game, and then things fell apart in the second half. Let's look at the highlights. As we get ready for the snowflakes to fly, basketballs will fly inside of Stamford High School. Hi again, everyone. I'm Rob Adams. Welcome to high school boys basketball on the HAN Network. 5-0 run to start for the Crusaders all the way across. Here's Lavaris for 3. That's an answer. 5-3, and the Black Knights on the board. To the left side, Moisey goes back up top for Lucas. Lucas fakes on the 3, swings left, goes over to Moisey again. Moisey's going to pull up for the 3 and hit.
Stone cold out of Moisey, looking his opponent right in the eye and draining.
Giancarlos Marte wide open. Both St. John and Harding had the opportunity to pass to him and couldn't get it.
The quick inbound comes in, and it's thrown up and off glass by Galgano. He has 5. It's 21-15. Leans in, throws it up. It won't fall. Rebounded by DeVito. DeVito, the quick chest pass, brings it down. Lavaris, a 3. It's good.
Lavaris getting happy in his happy place with that three-point shot.
and turned right back over off the fingertips of Jacketin. They'll bring it over. Here's Lavaris for three. Bang!
He's not going to miss those, Rob. And Cato, I got to concur with you. I don't really think anybody's going to miss that shot from the corner.
Marte across the line, swings left. DeVito, a deep three. That's good!
Jay DeVito gets lost out on the arc in the Trinity defense. Marte picks him up. DeVito recognized it and called for the ball.
They'll swing right for DeVito. DeVito for three. That's good!
DeVito catches the pass off the screen from after screen on Marte, able to get position and an open look at the three-point.
Sent over. Lavaris, a three. Oh, that's a dagger! 57-45, a 30-second timeout with 4:58 to go. With Blake down to 7. Blake will drive, floater, no good, tipped, and taken back by Marte, who will hold it with 1, and this one's over. So there you go, the Black Knights with another victory, and they are, to me, I think they're probably even better than West Hill High School, but I think right now Stanford, to me, is the best team in the city of Stanford among the three. Now it's a question of how far can they go in the States and in the FCAC as well.
Right. We had mentioned Stanford as probably being one of the best teams in the FCAC before the season, and certainly they've done nothing really to move me off that position at least. So impressive win for the Knights.
Good job by the Knights, and great fun. I mean, it's just a great gym for us to go visit. So thanks to Jim Moriarty and everybody there at Stanford High School. Really make us feel comfortable. The great Bobby Augustine always opening up the doors, and he'll have the coffee ready if we need a cup. So good time there. With the black,
nice.
The orange, and the white.
They treat us well.
They do. They very much do. All right, to Athletes of the Week now, Don, as this show is flying right along, and we can dive right in. Where shall we go first?
Well, why don't we review last week? Mike Mosian, Greenwich Ice Hockey, is the male athlete of the week last week, pulling down a remarkable 4,672 votes. That's 58% of the tallies as far on the boys' side. And on the girls' side, Amanda Hill, another ice hockey player, this one out of New Canaan. 34% of the vote, 752 votes for Amanda Hill. So congratulations, Amanda and Mike, players of the week for last week, and now we go to this week.
All right, let's dive into this week, and then we will start on the ladies' side. We begin with Ward basketball. Shania Osborne, a career-high 27 points, 15 rebounds, as the Mustangs knocked off Wilton High 45-33 on January 19th. Had 16 points when the Mustangs turned back Ridgefield High 56-44. The junior center also blocked or altered a number of shots in the win. And the Mustangs, the last unbeaten team in the FCAC, 10-1 overall, setting up for a really great run in girls basketball. Don.
Your next nominee is Shannon Grabowski of St. Joseph basketball. Team-high 12 points to lead the cadets to a 41-38 overtime win over Staples January 21st. She converted the three-point play with less than a minute to go in regulation, tying the score and forcing overtime. And, of course, St. Joe's then won the game in overtime 41-38. Shannon Grabowski.
All right, to Karen Brosco. She had 13 as Wilton knocked off Ludlow 54-41. 4 of 6 from the line. Karen Brosco. Next up, we go over to New Canaan Ice Hockey.
Brooke Dean, your next nominee. 2 goals to help the Rams to a 4-2 win over the state co-champ East Catholic Friday night. The freshman tied the game at 2 in the second period, then put New Canaan ahead for good with 1:36 remaining in the third. Dean also had the Rams' final goal an empty netter in a 3-0 shutout of the Stanford West Hill Staples co-op on Wednesday.
Time moving along on this edition of Nutmeg, so I'll be quick. Abby Wolf, 25 points, 71-23. The Greenwich basketball star, again, 25 points as they beat Staples on Tuesday. Abby Wolf. Don.
Alexa Kellner, Stanford basketball, a double-digit scoring back-to-back games. The Knights defeated Darien and Trinity Catholic last week. Alexa Kellner is your next nominee.
The final nominee, Isaiah Knight of Norwalk basketball, 13 points in Thursday's win over Darien. Those are the girls' nominees to the boys' nominees. The first one seems like a no-brainer right off the bat, Don.
Tyler Hill of New Canaan Ice Hockey, 4 goals as the Rams beat number 2 Xavier 5-1 Monday at the Darien Ice Rink. Hill is a junior. He scored first to give New Canaan a 2-1 lead, and then the goals just kept on coming for Tyler Hill.
Couple of Jakes up next. Jake Fuss is first of Fairfield, a hat trick for Fairfield in the 4-0 win over Staples West in Shelton. The next Jake is
Jake Kirby. Darien Ice Hockey had 2 goals and an assist in the span of 83 seconds to help Darien take down St. Joe's 5-2.
Brady Jensen of Trumbull Ice Hockey really impressed us. He had a hat trick as Trumbull defeated Massac 7-2 back on January 18th. We had it here on the HAN Network. That's Brady Jensen of Trumbull.
Trumbull basketball's Jake Moore, your next nominee, 30 points in just 3 quarters as the Eagles beat New Canaan 67-61. He also had 8 more points during a win over Danbury. Jack Moore.
Not to be confused with the Chicago Moors. All right, Terrell Alexander of West Hill basketball. I don't really know any Chicago Moors. He had a double-double, 23 points, 10 rebounds. West Hill beat city rival Trinity Catholic 52-45. Tyrell Alexander of West Hill.
Next up is Greenwich swimming and diving competitor Jack Montesi. Won 2 individual events and was part of the 400 freestyle win and a 113-73 win over Darien. Jack Montesi, Greenwich swimming and diving.
We saw Nico Laveris play so well the other night when Trinity Catholic fell to Stanford. Trinity, of course, Laveris plays for Stanford. 29 points, including lethal from the corner downtown. He would just find his mark and keep draining the threes. 69-52 win, Nico Laveris of Stanford basketball.
And your final nominee is Ridgefield hockey player Jimmy Wilkinson. Senior captain scored the game's only goal, unassisted, and in the opening minute of play, as Ridgefield beat New Canaan 1-0 last week. So Jimmy Wilkinson is your final nominee.
Get to voting and get to it at HAN.network. We're out for a break. Don and I come back and say goodbye right after this. You're watching Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Denali is your outdoor retail destination in the Westfield Trumbull Mall. For the last 21 years, we have carefully selected clothing, footwear, and gear from a variety of the best outdoor brands, such as the North Face, Patagonia, Vineyard Vines, UGG, Merrell, GoPro, New Balance, and many more. Our stores have a friendly, knowledgeable staff to help you with all of your running, hiking, and cold weather needs, and in discovering all things outdoorsy and awesome. Visit us in the Westfield Trumbull Mall or online at DenaliOutdoor.com.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express, open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
Do you do a lot of running around but get nowhere when you're buying a car? Visit Pamby Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram for the one-stop buying experience and stop spinning your wheels.
It's the new year. The to-do list is long and it's easy to feel pulled in many directions at once. Your professional personal shoppers at Walter Stewart's are ready to check groceries off your list by shopping for you. Save extra time this year and spend it doing more important things. Great food and wine delivered to your home with the same-day service. Shop Stewart's online at stewartsmarket.com.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter, and I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
Back for our final segment here on Nutmeg Sports, and as we wrap up today's show, sometimes, look, we get it. We're in business, and there are others who are competitors and blah, blah, but we know Sean Patrick Boley. We know the guys between the New Haven Register and Game Time CT, and they did a real solid by us, taking a lot of the audio and some of the video that we use here at the HAN Network and put together these really cool highlight packages. In fact, I got a note. It was a funny note I got from Sean Patrick Boley the other night that said along the lines of, hey, thanks for the use of the audio. Be prepared for plenty of Robbie Adams you will be hearing over the next couple of days. And there really is a lot of us on there. Chris Irway is on there as well. And, there are other broadcasters they featured, but I'm proud to say that, our work got featured as well.
When you spoke to Mr. SPB, did he explain the conspicuous lack of sandwiches?
We did not get into that. We decided to stay away from that conversation. But, you know, he's great. Sean Patrick Boley is what he is, as are we, and we all agree to disagree on various and sundry things, which is why it's good. But at the end of the day, I consider him a friend. I really do, and I consider all these guys to be just good dudes and people that I enjoy talking to. And I'm glad they took our audio. So
and he does a great job, and he and his website are a great resource for us.
Absolutely outstanding. We're all over the work of the Mark Ivanchik video, who was Player of the Year, not surprisingly. The Michael Collins video, we're on that one. The Hudson Hamill one, which was a real highlight call, that Hudson Hamill touchdown in the back of the end zone at the Turkey Bowl. So, again, you know, thanks to them. And you're probably going to run this show tomorrow, my friend.
Getting pensive.
Getting pensive. See if you can grab Mike Suppy, get him over here. You'll be fine.
We'll make it through.
And we'll have the highlights from tonight's game. It'll be a hockey game, Notre Dame of Fairfield and Trumbull. Of course, they're co-op teams, but that'll pretty much tell you what we've got. That'll do it for today's Nutmeg Sports. We're back with you tomorrow. Coffee break, of course. Mike Suppy in for me all week. I thank him, as we've got a crazy week. For Donald Eng, Eric Gendron, I'm Rob Adams. Enjoy your day. We'll see you for hockey tonight at 8:30 right here on the HAN Network. Have a good day, everyone.